So I remember sitting in the governor's office shortly after Sandy hit, and there were a couple things that struck me off the bat. The first thing was just how exhausted he looked. It was very clear that he and the administration and the federal agencies, all the way down to the local communities, had been focused on emergency response and crisis management. The second thing that struck me was just how energized he was at the same time, and that he was very clear about the challenges that the state was facing, and that he felt that it was part of his mission and the administration's mission to coordinate, recovery and rebuilding under some extraordinary challenges. And the governor had a very keen appreciation for the challenges that were ahead, and the understanding that recovery and rebuilding was not just going to happen. It was going to be something that needed to be coordinated, and that he himself was going to invest in, and that the state departments and agencies were going to be focused on for the weeks, the months, and the years to come. And it was in that context that he asked me, will you come back to state service to help coordinate with not just horizontally with the state departments and agencies, but also to help coordinate with federal government agencies and all the way down to the counties and local communities that had been hit so hard by the hurricane. I do remember the first day. It was no question, an extraordinary challenge that I felt very personally, but also, was excited about getting to work. And I was escorted to my office in the State House, which I remember it was empty, the lights were off, so the first thing I did was turn the light switch on, and it struck me how there was absolutely nothing in the room. There were no papers on the table, no books, no guides, and it dawned on me that this mission that we were going to undertake meant that we really needed to start from the ground up. The challenge for us was that recognizing that every sector in New Jersey had been impacted, and that a response to Sandy had to be holistic, that we needed to come up with recovery and rebuilding programs that addressed all of the various impacts, the very diverse impacts across communities throughout the state. I certainly learned from the experience that New Jersey has risks that we need to address. And I think all of us, having withstood the impacts of Hurricane Sandy, recognize that we are going to experience extreme weather events more frequently. And those events are going to be more significant, and we have to adapt. And so what we incorporated into recovery and rebuilding was resiliency as much as we possibly could, and there always is a balance when you're thinking about individuals and families who need help, who want to return to their communities, who want to get back to some sense of normalcy, balancing between doing that as quickly as possible and also rebuilding in a way that is going to withstand these extreme weather events in better ways. From our vantage point, and this was something that was very important to the governor, it was important to me, I think it was important to everybody at the departments and agencies to try to incorporate resiliency into our recovery and rebuilding in ways that would serve New Jersey well for years to come. Sandy presented us with challenges that none of us anticipated having to deal with in our lifetimes. Just extraordinary, catastrophic damage. And the people of New Jersey were incredibly resilient in pitching in to get their communities back up and running. I mean, that's really the heart of where recovery and rebuilding happened in the communities. With respect to individuals and families that are still struggling, this is something that I know the governor is committed to and that everybody in the administration is committed to. You know, major catastrophic events like Sandy bring extraordinary damage, and you know, for people who are still struggling, I know there is commitment in the administration to help those people get back to a sense of normalcy, to get them back to a permanent home, to help them within their communities adapt and move past the event and get back to the New Jersey that they know and love.